Seems like a pretty good mood around practice right now.
Oh, absolutely. We're into the stretch run and got a great trip down to Arizona. It's always fun to go down there and play. They got over 2,000 fans every game, and we're in a conference championship race, so it's fun. It's a good position to be in right now.
Does the mentality, the attitude seem any different from a couple months ago?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I think that I think we're feeling good about our game right now, but we know that can change quickly. But we're still going to work hard and approach each game with the cliche of one pitch at a time. That's what we've got to do. We can't get too far ahead of ourselves.
You guys have seen offenses like ASU and Washington and those kind of powerful teams, Louisiana too. How does Arizona stack up to those kind of teams offensively?
Very similar. I mean, they've also got a lot of power, obviously with Malga and Goodacre and Haley Wilson, and then they got some speed in there as well. So they're a balanced attack, and so they're going to be probably one of our toughest task ahead of us as far as their offense goes. They're a very good hitting team.
A couple years ago, you were finishing against ASU, if I remember. You weren't sure how to approach that series because you'd already wrapped up the conference, and it was like, hey, do we keep our foot on the gas or not?
Yeah.
Do you like still being in the thick of a conference race so you don't have to worry about that? You can just sort of keep grinding and keep encouraging them to play well and finish strong?
I think that's correct. I mean, before you're worried if you've got it won already, it's like, how do we keep them motivated? Here, I don't have to worry about that. They're going to be self-motivated. They're the ones that want to win the championship, and so it's just a matter of me managing the pieces. And so I like that a lot better than having to think about, what should I do, what shouldn't I do? Here it's right in front of us. We need to go out and play our best ball.
Has that been the motivator the last few weeks? Because you guys seem to be playing your best, and there's just been no let-up, it seems like.
Well, we have our eye on the big prize, not only the conference championship, but the big prize, the championship. And to do that, we've got to go out there and we've got to play these 3-game sets, and we've got to win the sets. We've got to win the 2 out of 3s to get to that. And even the World Series final becomes the best 2 out of 3. So each weekend is a preparation for that. And so we're keeping that in mind as we go forward, and that's why we're approaching it.
But to go back a couple of years, too, I mean, some of the girls said they got caught peeking ahead, and it hurt them, and it hurt you in the Super Regional. How have you been able to look ahead while still using that as motivation, but not forgetting what's in front of you?
Well, just like we don't really talk about averages and things like that. It's about quality at bats. It's about the process, and I think we break it down into some minute details where you can't look ahead too much. You can't worry about the what ifs. It's about what we do. Obviously Arizona has a great ball club, but it's about what we do more than what they do, and I think that kind of approach has helped us with breaking it down.
Do you look at that number 1 ranking?
It's nice. I mean, I would look at it if we were there on the last day of the season. It's like we're number 1, but it's a great honor for the ball club, and it tells a lot of people how far we've come as a club. And it's just a number right now. It's just out there.
Going into the postseason, what do you tell your team playing this high level of softball? I mean, how do you keep them on that plane?
Well, I think we had a couple of reality checks early in the season as far as Florida. They still whipped our butt, so to speak, and they outplayed us in all phases of the game. So we know that we've got a lot of work to do. We use that as motivation to get better. We knew we had to get better, both offensively, all 3 phases, offensive, defensive, and pitching. I mean, they just outplayed us in all 3 phases. So we had a lot of work to do. As we've gone along, I think we've got better in some of those phases. Do we have work to do? Yeah, we still have a little bit of work to do. Obviously, our pitching staff, 2, 3, and 4, are still coming together, but they've shown glimpses of hope and doing a lot better.
You guys have gotten pretty good pitching, pretty good hitting, but in that postseason context especially, do you feel like you'd do better with one kind of more of a dominant pitching team or more of a hitting team, or does it really not matter at this point for you guys?
Well, we know that championships are won through good defense. That's what teams are showing. It's like the same in hockey. It's the same in baseball. Obviously with San Francisco last year, and it's the same with softball. Good defense beats offense. It tends to in the championships. So we know that pitching is going to be a big key of it, and of course that's Sheridan Hawkins.
I think you guys have had 8 straight weeks where you've had one of your players recognized by the Pac-12 for a weekly award. I mean, what do you make of that? It's pretty crazy stat.
Well, I think we've said all along that we've had a deep team, a deep staff and a deep team, probably the deepest we've ever had, and I think that just illustrates that by the number of people that are stepping up and doing different things. And it's like nightmare for me trying to pick a lineup right now. It's like, who do I put in, who do I leave out? But it's also a good thing.
When you do leave someone out like that and they come in, like a Lauren Lindbaugh, and prove that they want to be in the lineup, does that just make your life more difficult or in a good way, right? I mean,
In a good way, but what it allows me to do is match the hitters up to the pitchers we're playing, the teams we're playing, what kind of defenses do they have. So it gives me the luxury of making some choices based on lineup than anything else.
With Sheridan against these power hitting teams, what do you have to do differently with her with that rise ball being so vulnerable to keep the ball in the park?
Well, that's good. Beat the bat, right? Just slightly miss at it, but she just got to vary her location. That's what she's got to do. She's got to mix in some other things. Can't let them sit on one spot. And I think that's where, when she's been unsuccessful, that's what's happened. We just had too many of the exact same locations. So we're going to mix it up just a little bit to keep a little bit of an edge.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.